Hello, everyone. This is David Morgan. I'm Arlington's Environmental Planner Conservation Agent. The July 24, 2025 public meeting of the the Conservation Commission will be conducted in a remote format consistent with an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, which further extends certain COVID-19 measures regarding remote participation in public meetings until June 30th of 2027. This meeting is being recorded and the recording may be made publicly available. All meeting materials are available at the link I'm putting into the chat now. Please note that the chat feature may be used for questions and comments that contribute to the Commission's procedures, and if it's used otherwise, it may be disabled at the Chair's discretion. Public comment period will follow each hearing. The Conservation Commission encourages attendees to ask questions and offer comments during the public comment period. Chuck Turoney is the Commission Chair. He'll facilitate tonight's meeting. Each vote taken during this meeting will be conducted via roll call vote. And so we start with Chuck reviewing the agenda and taking attendance.
Sure. And David, could you just give me co-hosting permission?
Yeah, thank you.
So tonight's agenda on July 24th, 2025, 7:03. We're going to review the July 10th, 2025 minutes. Just briefly go over correspondence. We're going to talk about certificate of compliance for 102, 104 Milton Street, Sims Hospital, an enforcement order for 6066R Dudley and 993 Mass Ave. We'll get updates from our liaison groups. And then the third and final item on our agenda is a notice of intent. I believe this is a continuation, but it's a notice of intent for 1638 Drake Road, Drake Village, DEP 91-371. And with that, I'll take roll call attendance. Mike Gildersgame.
Present.
Nathaniel Stevens.
Present.
David White.
I'm here.
Brian McBride.
Here.
And Chuck Turoney's here. And absent tonight is Susan Chapnick and David Kaplan. Associate members Susan Sarah Alfaro Franco.
Present.
And Eileen Coleman. Okay. Eileen's not here, and so let's move on to our first agenda item, which is review of the July 10th meeting minutes.
And for all right. I was absent for this one.
Did we have any other edits? I edited them before Jackie sent them out, but I don't. Did anyone else? Did Susan have any? Did she look at them?
I didn't see any, but Jackie, did you?
Or anyone else? Sorry, I didn't see it. Did Jackie nod her head? Oh, there you
Yeah,
are.
no, I think it looks good with the edits.
Thanks.
There were no hearings at that meeting, so it was a nice short one, 7:52, and that
Wow.
was for light reading.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of July 10th,
Can I get a
2025.
Oh, second.
David White seconds. Mike Gildersgame.
Yes.
Brian McBride.
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens.
Yes.
Mike Gildersgame.
You got me already.
Oh, wait a minute. David White.
Yes.
And Chuck Turoney says yes. Okay. Moving on, our next item on the list is correspondence, and just correspondence received is available to the public. And for a full list, contact our conservation agent. He's going to provide a link in the chat. And if you have any questions, reach out to David Morgan. I think the office isn't covered tomorrow, but next week the office will be covered. So now we're going to go into our first discussion item, and at the chair's discretion, I'm going to take items out of order. We'll move item 2 and 3 up and take item 1 and move that down, and that'll be in the third position. So this is to accommodate scheduling. So it may not be needed, but if things take a long time, we're gonna we want to do it this way. So that would make the first item Sims Woods Forest Management Plan Review. And so Nathaniel Stevens, can you walk us or at least start
Sure.
us off?
Yes, happy to. So as everyone may recall, on March 20th, we had a meeting, during our meeting of March 20th, we had a discussion with the owner of Sims, the property management company, and their consulting forester, Dan Cathcart, who had created an outline of a forest management plan. For further background, recall that previously, a year or two earlier, Dan had put together a plan, and we discussed it with the commission, that would have been a forest management plan over 5 years. So that would have been pretty drastic changes at Sims over a short period of time, and also understandably more costly to the landowner, and we probably would have gotten a lot of neighborhood complaints. So there was some rethinking going on, and so what we presented on March 20th was a outline of a plan to, again, later be put in more detail, that just has outlines the elements of what's going to be put together in a further, more detailed plan. And the main difference is, I mean, there's a number of differences, but the main difference is that this will be over a 15-year or so period, 15 to, yeah, I want to say 20, but I think 15 on that, and maybe back off a little bit on taking out every Norway maple that exists. So the property management company is ready to send this out to get the detailed plan prepared for our further comment, where we'll really get into the weeds. It will address some of the comments that the commission members made at our March 20th meeting, but we did revise it. It has been revised, and I worked with them this week to do so, just to incorporate some of the more general concepts we discussed. So this isn't really to re-examine everything. It's just to make sure that we captured all our comments from the March 20th meeting, to be sure that the outline is as we want it, as a basis, as a jumping point to the more detailed plan that will be prepared. Because the property owner obviously doesn't want to spend the money. We don't want to spend the time in reviewing something that's divergent from what we all had essentially discussed and agreed on. I see David has a comment. David White has a comment.
Okay. I note the work does actually start on the forest until the 3rd year. It's a delay in action on a phase 2.
Oh yeah, phase 2. Yep.
So there's 2 years of evaluation or something before they actually start work.
Right, and actually part of that, and I should say Dan, I see Dan is here, also Dave Lapointe from Beals and Thomas, who's representing the property owner, and I'm not seeing Adam Post yet. He may be late, but he's representing the property management company. But remember that if you look at phase 1, the baseline ecological survey, which is going to happen in years 1 and 2, that's marked as completed. So it's actually, you could consider that we're into the plan at year 2 or 3. And I guess Dan or Dave pop in if I'm not saying that. So
I'd like to know what year they're going to start. Yeah.
yeah, so that is I think once the detailed plan is finalized, which will take some time, and I guess Dave and Dan can speak to how long that might take. I see Dan's unmuted, so.
Yeah, I was just going to
them.
say you nailed it, Nathaniel. We're already, once we get the okay and build the plan, we're basically at the beginning of year 3.
Okay, and how long do you anticipate that will take you once you get the go-ahead from Adam?
probably have a detailed plan to the committee by, what is this, end of July, September?
Okay. All right, thanks.
So you start next year then.
Not
Yeah,
necessarily.
so, yeah.
We could start
Yeah,
the,
well,
some of the removal in the late fall.
Good, good.
So that's sort of the timeline based on, we know how all these things go. So if we have to go back and forth, it'll be moving a bit, but that's the goal right now.
Good to hear. I'm also wondering, what if there's a change in the management company or ownership?
I'm sorry, what's the what?
If there's a change in the management company or the ownership, are we covered in that case?
It's not, yes, I mean, the town considers that we will be covered. The contracting, there may be a hiccup, I guess, if there is a change in the management company. I think that's, yeah, we haven't addressed that explicitly, but I think that we would hold the old management company in the transition to make make sure that's smooth and there's no lost
That's
time.
what questions about.
So, yeah. I mean, is that, yeah, we can just continue to hold their feet to the fire. We're not contracting with them directly, so we can't force that through contract, but there are other ways we could seek to enforce it. Brian has a comment?
Yeah, just similar, Nathaniel, to what David was saying, that my concern looking at the schedule is the years 3 to 15 is such a long stretch of time. And maybe in the subsequent draft, we'd be able to get something concrete in terms of benchmarks for those early years, so it doesn't drift. I don't know if I'm right on this. I feel like the applicant or our partner here has gotten some concessions from the town in terms of building the Sims facility, and in return has agreed to do this conservation land. And it's sort of not an optional thing, that it should be given due importance, and it's a requirement, right? And
Right.
I just hate to see it drift any further. I know you're doing a great job. I don't even have any question about that. But just maybe we could build some dates in, like something could be done in the first 3 years or what have you, to hold a clear deadline.
Sure, but also recall that one of the approaches here is adaptive management, so things may change even if we do set those goals, but I think it's probably not a bad idea to do that. I would say save that thought for the more detailed plan, and hopefully Dan will address that now that he's heard that in there, but.
Yeah, absolutely. We would definitely, that would be part of our phasing and all that. So that would come in the detailed plan, our goals, benchmarks, etc.
Thank you. Thank you.
And sorry, this is Dave LaPointe from Beals and Thomas. The other thing that's included in there is quarterly reporting within an annual summary as well, which would document the progress that's been made over the course of each year.
Right, so that helps us keep track of it as well.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Dave. So again, I can run through the changes. If did everyone have a chance to look at it? I'm sorry, it did get out late, but I can just essentially run through the additions, which reflect the comments.
I think that would be good.
Okay.
Seems like
if I could screen share, that might be faster than. Yeah, it looks like I can. Already. Thanks. You anticipated it. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Can everyone see my screen okay?
yes.
Okay, great. And it's big enough. I can make it larger. So essentially here on the restoration plan itself, there was a good comment that we have a conceptual plan itself, physical plan that looks like a plan on there. I think that was the land trust's comment. So we added that in. Again, someone, I think David White perhaps had wanted an annual report. They already provided for quarterly report. So we'll have an annual summary report that's added. The Clarissa Rowe had a good comment about, for the community and stakeholder engagement, there should be developed an engagement program, actually planned, not just be sort of loosey-goosey and catch as catch can. So that's been added in. And again, these are the changes are underlined strikeout text here. Then there was discussion, Susan made the comment that we had decided that really focusing on Norway maples that are 10 dBH and greater that would be removed. So that reflects this language here reflects that comment here. Again, here for the soil and water restoration, this was getting a little bit into the weeds, but we thought we'd include it anyways. Watering trucks, Clarissa emphasized that using perforated hoses as needed, since the watering trucks can't always reach as far into the woods as needed. And also, she asked who would be doing the soil testing for the nutrient profile, and there would be a vendor to do that, qualified vendor, and that's to be determined. I think here we go. Again, another more clarifying thing, we'd have the annual biodiversity surveys by the consulting arborist. And then someone wanted to reflect the fact that there will likely be trails. We're not sure where at this point. And so we added this item in here, explore the potential to sort of take into account the possibility of trails, hiking trails, other passive recreation activities that the community may develop. And then the whole issue about sort of access for the forestry management program itself. So that's captured in that bullet. David Morgan, you have your hand up.
I have a few things I want to comment on. So are you?
Sure. Yeah. So I think those are the only changes that we had so far. And let me save this, because if you're going to make some comments, I'm going to put another date on it.
Cool.
But go for it.
My first thought is box elder is native to Massachusetts. I know it can attract pests, and I'm not sure about.
I guess that's a question for Dan and Dave.
Yeah, I would think that one would want to stay.
Tends to be invasive, but it's a native invasive, so I mean that could certainly be adjusted.
Yeah. I think it's okay to keep it on the list. It'd be fine if we had something aggressive to compete with all of the rest of the invasives in there. So, better to have a good problem than a bad problem, I suppose.
Fair enough. Yep.
Sorry, can you scroll a bit?
Sorry, which way? Which, up or down? I'm sorry, up?
To the beginning of the document. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just comment, I really love the idea of the biodiversity surveys. It's an excellent addition. And I'm sorry, I guess I'm looking for page 3, Nathaniel.
Okay, that's right.
Kind of jog my memory. Yeah, one comment about, I see, preserving Norway maples over 10 dBH. That's totally cool. So we're focusing on
removing the small stuff. And I think, we put approximately, because it's gonna be a lot of field decisions. We might have a certain DBH we choose, but if 2 of them are like right next to each other, we might still be removing one of those. So I think the overall goal is, selective removal of any larger, quote unquote, larger ones if needed, but more so focused on the smaller ones, so that we're not getting the next generation in.
Okay, great.
Small ones are key, yes. Get those small ones out.
Right, exactly.
My last thought was about the soil testing. I'm very keen to get soil management practices established for public lands, this being sort of quasi-public. I think it makes sense to have it be consistent with other management. And we're looking at UMass extension for our soil testing. I don't know of a good option for determining permeability and sort of organic matter composition. I think you can add that on as a test at UMass.
You can, yeah, absolutely. And I use UMass extension a lot. I also use UConn's extension is very good too.
Oh, great.
Even though it's not right in our neighborhood, they do a fantastic job. So depending who we have kind of spearheading that, we'll make sure we're not just looking at the standard pH, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and that we'll be looking at organic material, etc.
Cool. And
So David, I'm sorry, are you suggesting, so here, would we add another item, or are you drilling down to a detail of what's already said here?
detail about the vendor.
Okay, all right, thanks.
And maybe also, Dan, maybe you have experience with this, testing for compaction. And
Yep,
you know,
I do.
I sort of doubt that this area is going to be super compacted, but would like your guidance there, and maybe we could do like a periodic test for compaction, especially as we add potentially trails and so on.
Exactly.
And so forth.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, so those are all of my comments. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Any other comments from the commissioners at this point? David White.
I'm wondering about the future trails, whether we should engage somebody to help us to design where those trails might go.
Yeah, I think the idea, originally long back ago, it was going to be, it was going to be more a broad community input process, and under whose auspices, I'm not sure who that was going to be envisioned under. But that might be, yes, I agree. I'm not sure it necessarily fits into the forest management plan, because again, we're focusing on the trees here. But it is a good question to raise.
I think maybe the
and
AMC could be
ponder.
contacted.
Yeah. Dave Lapointe?
Sorry, I think that was
Or is
something
it?
anticipate to be part of our role as well.
Oh, okay, good. All right, great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Sorry, Dave, to forget that. I think you may have told me that. Yeah, so there you go. Okay, good. So could I just get a vote or a motion from the commission to again, reaffirm, reapprove this outline with these changes?
Going forward, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll move for a second, whatever.
Okay, David moves. I guess, Chuck, I'm gonna say, can I get a second?
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to just you relive in your past, or you want me to
Yeah.
take over at some point.
That's all
All
right.
right. Can I get a second? David Morgan made a motion.
Yeah, I'll second.
That sounded like Brian McBride.
It is.
So we have Mike Gildersgame,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
David Morgan. No.
No, David Morgan.
David White.
Did I say
This is
Morgan? Oh,
voting.
it's the other David Morgan. David White,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
and Chuck Gironi says yes.
Good. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate
Great.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you
Chuck.
very much. Look forward to
Nice.
working with you guys on this.
Thanks,
great
Dan. Thanks,
project.
Dave.
Great job.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Oh, and this all right, moving right along, we're going to talk about the enforcement.
Chuck, sorry, could I make a quick comment?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, sorry. I was just looking at the CPA rules the other day, and there's some lack of, it's a little confusing on what CPA funds can be used for in terms of building trails and walkways and so forth. But they can be used, and some others may know this well, they can be used for construction of nature trails and but not maintenance. So maybe in the future, this project would be a good fit for a CPA grant request. If we get to the point where we're
Good
trying
idea.
Yeah.
to
Good idea.
benches, like benches and signs, and sort of that construction side of things would be approvable.
Good comment. Thanks.
Good.
All right. Now we're moving right along to enforcement issue. It's 66R Dudley Street, along with 993 Mass Ave, and Evelyn's here, LaRusso. I don't know if anyone else is here from Mass Ave, but it's Evelyn. But before we do this, I'm going to throw this to David Morgan. I hope you anticipated this, and just kind of bring us up to speed on where we're at with this enforcement order.
Sure. I think the commission will recall we issued the last round of enforcement orders. I believe it was in March with a deadline in May for a restoration plan. I know Evelyn pursued working with Parterre first, I think at our recommendation, and got some of the way toward a restoration plan, but Parterre backed out, saying that the engineering, the calculation of the stormwater retention area and the amount of fill that needs to be removed was more than they were capable of providing in terms of services. So Evelyn's been pursuing a different engineering firm, maybe two. So I'll allow her to give that update. But in terms of 993, I heard from Franco Pasquale, who has been sort of the lead contact from the condo association, and I don't believe they'll be attending tonight. They just reiterated their previous statement that, you know, they expect that the owners of 66R Dudley will be responsible for sorting things out more or less. So that's, I think, all of the pertinent information. Evelyn, you want to add a bit more about your efforts to secure an engineer and such? We still have her. Yeah, looks like you're off mute, Evelyn, but I'm not hearing you. As anybody else?
No, I'm not hearing her either.
No.
But it does look like she's not muted. Now she looks like she's muted.
Yeah, maybe just technical difficulties. I'm going to open up my email and see if I can get the name of the firm that she was talking to while we wait for that to sort out.
And do we have any idea about time frame about when Pater said that they couldn't help, and then what the new firm is saying that they can do?
I know that Evelyn has a date secured with the new engineer for a couple of days from now. Let's see, 26th of July. So looks like maybe Saturday they're going out to look at the property together. And scanning quickly for the name of the firm, and I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, she's in the chat. She said she's not sure why she's muted. It doesn't look like she's muted from our side, but maybe it's just an issue with her microphone. I guess, Evelyn, feel free to type in the chat what you want to say. If you can type, you can certainly do that. You just confirm that you're going to meet with them on Saturday. And David Morgan, do you have the name of the firm yet? Al Gala. Oh, we know Al Gala from Gala Simon Associates. Okay, great.
Very good.
Thank you. So it will take him, I'd imagine, through August to get something together. So I guess I would just suggest, revising the date in the enforcement order. And I would guess that she could continue to work for, Pater could do the planting aspects of it. I'm not sure how Al, my recollection is Al is just an engineer. Or just an engineer who would be dealing with stormwater issues. So it's almost like she needs the two people on her team, one to help with the landscaping.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
they'd
would work out
be
great.
doing all the work, right?
Yes, I'm not sure that it could work out that way, but it sounds like Al Gala is at least a name I know, and maybe it'll work out this time. Yeah, so we put this on the agenda, Susan and I, because it's just dragged out, and now we even have 993 saying, "Hey, this is this is a responsibility of 66R, and I wasn't aware of that. I don't think that, I mean, obviously the enforcement order belongs to the property owner. And the property
Right.
owner is 993 Mass Ave, so I'm unsure why they're here. I mean, one of the possibilities tonight, if we can't get any action, was to, you know, try to turn up the pressure from the commission.
Right.
And, but I guess I'm willing with the known name to go at least another couple of months to see if we can get some action here. But I think it would be important for Evelyn to not only secure a spot with Al Gala, but to get, Partier to do a restoration planting plan so we could see what that looks like and then implement. You'd be able to implement that after we approve it. So.
Yeah, so I guess my suggestion is to give a date in mid-September to get the plan to us. That gives, again, it's August. I understand it's vacation season. So, instead of just giving a month, maybe build in a little more time. So I don't have a calendar in front of me about what our September dates are, but I can look at that quickly. I think we are.
Evelyn did leave a note in the chat that their intention was to have this approved and done by early fall. If that helps.
Right. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yep. I saw that. So what's our first meeting in September? So if she gets the plan.
September 4th.
September 4th. Okay. So if we make a deadline, and again, Evelyn, you can certainly submit the plan ahead of time, but we're just trying to give you, enough time to allow you to meet with Al, have Al develop and put together a plan and submit it to us in time for us to discuss our meeting. So if it's the 4th, what's our filing deadline is the 27th of August? Is that right? David and Jackie? I think we're generally the Wednesday before, right? At noon?
Yeah, I was just checking the calendar. That is correct. Yep.
Okay. So I guess I would make a motion to extend the deadline and the enforcement orders. Well, let's go with 66R to August 27th, and then I'll make a similar motion for 993 Mass Ave. So that's my motion to amend the enforcement order to require, just change the date. All the other requirements remain the same. Change the date to August, submit the plan by August 27th,
Okay.
2025.
And what happens if this is not submitted at this meeting? Is that something that should be discussed now, or we just wait until the September meeting?
Yeah, I guess, well, we can discuss. I guess, if choices are going to, I guess at this point, we could start ticketing, that's $100 a day fine or whatever our fines are, do the ticketing thing. That's kind of a burden for the admin staff or to do, but that's an option. Short of that, I think, is filing complaint in court and starting a court proceeding. But we can also speak with town council to see what they suggest.
Yeah, I think we have to either do this, make a decision about that tonight, or push that decision off until September and make sure that that's going to be part of the discussion in September. And so can you ticket the non-property owner?
Well, both. We would issue tickets to both. I would say we'd have to fill the fill. The fill is on both properties, is my
It's
understanding.
both properties,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing the restoration mostly on 993s, but again, we don't. We're issuing enforcement orders to both, so they're both out of compliance.
Yes.
So I don't see an issue. But so why don't David and I plan to meet with town council, assistant town council, to have a plan ready for September 4th if we don't have a plan by then and can't, that restoration plan is not submitted in time for that meeting.
I think that's a good idea, because we should be prepared to at least ratchet. It's been a long time. We've,
I agree. I think we've been flexible.
Yeah, anytime the
Yes.
vacation schedule of your violator, it's certainly been a very long time. So I think that would be a good idea to add to the September meeting. And what does the commission think? Is that where you want to be? Has this gone long enough? Are we ready to start ticketing or that process? Start that ticketing process at the next meeting if we don't have a plan in front of us and some, real progress.
Well, Chuck, I'm not necessarily suggesting the ticketing. I mean, I guess that's something we could decide. I was going to suggest that David Morgan and I meet with town council and come back with recommendations about what to do to, what are our next possible steps to strengthen
Well,
the enforcement.
One more pressure somehow.
That's exactly what I meant. I'm sorry
Okay.
if it felt different, but yes, we'll be
Thanks. Okay.
discussing what town council says, and that I guess that it is an option of ticketing or other steps.
You folks
So
feel like I do that this really can't go into the winter, that's sort of like a red flag or a red zone.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we'd like to get it done, and I think their goal is to get it done by early fall. That's what Evelyn is saying.
yeah, David and Mike, do you mind chiming in? I think it would be important for the applicant to know that we all are either on the same page or what the thoughts are of the commission.
I agree with the idea of you guys talking to town council, and I also agree that we need to get this wrapped up as soon as possible. It's been a long time.
And it's been a long time. Let's push it along.
All right, Evelyn, you heard it. There's commission is really more than hoping that this moves forward with Al Gala and possibly the landscaper, which would be Parterre. And so it's unfortunate that you couldn't really join our meeting, so we can't hear from you, but I'm hoping you're understanding everything that we're saying here tonight. And David, is there possible David, is it possible you kind of put this all in an email and get a timestamp on it and send it to Evelyn and 993 Mass Ave? Okay. We have a motion from Nathaniel Stevens. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mike
Mike.
Guinness, this game. David White,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
Mike Gillisgame. I said that, didn't I?
Yes.
Brian McBride. I've lost track. But Chuck Tironi says yes. So
I think we're good.
we've passed. We got everyone. Okay, Evelyn. Please reach out to David next week after Wednesday, or from Wednesday on, right, David? Is that it? From Wednesday on. If you have any questions, otherwise he'll be sending you an email with a summary of what we discussed tonight. All right.
That's
So
good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you for coming. So I did expect this to be a little bit, took a little bit longer. So this is great. So now we're going to go back to 102, 104 Milton Street Certificate of Compliance request. David, do you have the form that commission reviews available? The certificates of compliance and your report, or Jackie's if Jackie went to the property.
To the property, and I'll ask her to share the narrative aspect, but we are recommending issuance. There were some slight changes from the as-built plan, but nothing that we found so significant to withhold a COC. We do know that the mitigation plantings were in, and we have all of the monitoring. Well, we have the final monitoring report and at least one other. We probably have the third somewhere. But everything else is compliant per Jackie's report. So Jackie, do you want to go through your site visit?
Yeah, so I visited both sides of the property. There is now a fence running through the yard separating the two sides. that was not on the original plan. And the engineer noted some minor changes, like the pervious or porous pavers in the driveway, and the elevations of the patios were slightly different. There were a few other minor things that were different, but overall seems to be generally along the lines of what was approved on the plan. Yeah, I had only found one monitoring report of the 3 that were required. There's also another area that now has like garden plantings, but that was where there would have been lawn before. David White has a question.
Does the fence allow passage for wildlife?
So the fence that surrounds the yard is sort of similar to the one that goes across, and I think the fence around the yard was part of the plan. So I don't think it impacts wildlife, because the fence that was already there was already a pretty substantial fence.
So the fence, so it sounds like what you're saying is the fence around the yard, which was approved, doesn't let wildlife through it.
Yeah, basically.
Who approved it? Do we approve it?
Well, no, it wouldn't have been approved that way. So if that was part of the, and so we have our history over at Spy Pond Lane, where we wouldn't sign off on the certificate of compliance until the fence was adjusted to allow wildlife passage. I think this was a Susan request. So are there any pictures so we get more of a understanding of what we're actually discussing here?
I did take pictures. Let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, so I didn't see anything about the like specifics on the fence in the order of conditions, but it's possible that that is not what it's supposed to be.
I will.
Well,
check
that's a
the
good point. If it's not in the
plans
order of
back.
conditions, can we enforce that line or that
Is it in our regulations? Pop quiz, pop quiz.
Put me on
provision.
the spot, Nathaniel. I don't think that it is.
We not make it, yeah, we didn't put that in.
Okay, so here's the driveway where there are now pervious pavers.
So with this picture, can you describe what you're talking about slightly? Is it a couple bricks or is it more than that? Since we can see.
What's underneath it?
Yeah.
So it looks like there's like little plants growing through the cracks. I'm guessing this is the type of paver that it's not the pavers themselves that have holes in it necessarily, but they have gaps in between. I think so that replaced the driveway on the original plan was not intended to be pervious as far as the plan shows. It just said portion of driveway to remain. So they converted that to permeable pavers, which was not shown on the original plan.
Oh.
And it's slightly larger, I think, but before it looks like there were other like elements.
Is it slightly wider or longer? What is it? I'm lost with what.
So I'm looking at, this is not the best, but I have I might not show because I'm blurred, but I have the plan here. So the proposed driveway, it was portion of driveway to remain, which was smaller than the original driveway. But then the driveway that was put in is slightly larger, like maybe like I would guess like maybe 10 square feet larger, but it is permeable.
But it's not like twice the car, 2 cars wide instead of 1 car wide.
It's just like along the perimeter. It's a little bit wide,
Okay.
in all dimensions on the perimeter.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So okay.
I'd
So
like to
that
note
sounds.
that the driveway is not permeable.
There's the plantings. I don't know why I took a picture of that plant. Here's one side, and you can see how that fence is.
Looks like there's a gap
Like-
there.
Yeah,
Does that-
maybe there's a small gap, but it doesn't
I'm not
really
sure.
look like
Oh,
it's.
no, it looks like the
No.
mulch is coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thought it was a gap.
So yeah, it looks like a
light.
gap from here. Yeah, it's light. Yeah.
yeah. The plantings did look like at least 75% survivable.
Is this in the foreground of the picture? Is that the other fence that you're talking about that they added?
So you can't see it in this picture. Let's see if
Okay.
it's in the next. Yep, here it is. So this is looking from the back left of the property, if you're facing it from the road, looking into the other side backyard. So there's one patio here. This is the garden area that wasn't on the plan, but that's over where there would have been lawn. And then on the other side, there's another patio that you can't see because it's behind that fence that splits the yard in half.
Can you enlarge that? Because that fence looks like I'm looking at the right side of that fence, the footing there. That one looks like it's lifted. It's
Yes.
higher.
It
Yeah.
does, it does, yeah.
Yeah, so that one looks okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm less worried now, but
That's
others.
the patio. Patio, I think it's like slightly larger along all the sides. And then my next email, I think, oops. Next email had the other side, I think.
Sorry, folks, I got booted. While Jackie's looking for something, I just want to comment that this is in the floodplain, and
Okay.
Yes, it was in the
lack
floodplain.
of permeability in that fence gives me a lot of pause. There needs to be considerable room underneath there for me to not feel hesitation. I didn't realize the nature of the fence. We only talked about a fence, and the plans said that the chain link was to remain. So this is
Okay. Yeah, that's a big change then. Yep.
and it being a flood zone, that's a problem.
Yeah, I can't find my photos from the other side. They're in a different email.
All right.
So, for now.
So it looks like that that discussion has to happen with the applicant. That would be a staff discussion as I see it, and then bring it back when it's in compliance, unless the commission wants to weigh in with some direction.
No, happy to have the staff address it if they could.
So it looks
Yeah.
like we're all good except for the fence. There was no other issues, right, Jackie? I talked
Yeah,
about
everything else is pretty much like minor deviations from the plan, I would say. Here's the other side of the fence. If you wanted to see it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it does
that
come
one.
down to the mulch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Do
see if you
folks
can.
know?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Chuck. I'm just curious. We said this wasn't in the order of conditions to have a raised fence, but it's part of the code, the town's code. And so I guess we refer to that and say you should have been aware that the town code required a 6-inch raised fence or something like that, and please adjust it to that level. Is that sort of?
Well, I think we discovered that there was a chain link fence which is supposed to remain, and it's been turned into this fence, which is basically a dam.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And they made longer fence. I mean, they put in more fence, right? There's that fence across the width of the backyard that wasn't even proposed before. So.
But there's a clear code that says a fence in a floodplain should be elevated X inches.
There's a in the Wetlands Protection Act. There's fence can be installed, but it needs to be elevated for animal passage. There's different criteria for turtle habitat and regular habitat, but yes, that's in it. And then there's this separately, there's this flood zone discussion about alteration and fill.
Yeah.
Also, you can't, under the act, you can't worsen the effects of stormwater
Right.
from your property
right.
to another. So I
So
think
if they would have
on all
included,
fronts.
if they would have included that fence drawing, and initially we would have said, whoa, wait a minute, you're altering the flow of water in a flood zone.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, thanks for explaining that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. But if we're being accurate, I would say that we all know that single family houses are exempt from that section. They don't have to comply with stormwater. So
No, but I think even if David Morgan had said instead floodwaters rather than stormwaters, I think that it would apply. Maybe he meant to say stormwater, but I would say that
Floodwaters.
we have. I mean, I think they have to comply with the stormwater, the BLSF standard to not impinge on the ability of that resource area to be able to absorb flood waters and prevent storm damage. And putting a fence in the middle of it certainly impairs that ability. So,
all right.
essentially they built the project, it didn't comply, and they've actually, in doing that, not only does it not comply with the order, but they've actually potentially violated another, not complied with another performance standard.
Right.
So,
Thanks, Nathaniel. Appreciate it.
So we're going to toss this back to staff, and we're going to ask them to resolve this before it comes back to the Conservation Commission. Hopefully that doesn't turn into a discussion with the applicant, with the Conservation Commission. Hopefully it's handled right back there at Town Hall. So, and we'll see it when it's all.
but having said that, we don't want to leave the staff hanging out there. Obviously, if they need help.
No, I think
with that, certainly reach out to
I did say
any member of the commission. Yeah,
I did say hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
But
I've dealt with this one before on another property where they wanted to put up a similar fence, and I said, chain link is the best you can do. It needs to be fully permeable. So, there's precedent.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, moving right along. So next on our agenda is Water Bodies Working Group update. That would be David White.
Okay, a couple of things. Spy Pond is looking fairly good. Reports of some silt coming from a storm drain into Spy Pond. And David Morgan, take a look at that. David, looked at that.
We did look at it. Jackie went out and took photos. I was heading over to another site visit at the time, so we split the difference, and it was hard to determine the nature of the silt. It seemed a bit sandy. It didn't seem like construction debris, but it also didn't seem like it was just sand. Am I characterizing that right, Jackie?
Yes, I wasn't able to determine what it was. I could tell there was something maybe sandy or silty that has settled around the outfall, but I didn't see anything like suspended in the water coming out of it at the time. And I wondered if it would be more useful to go like during a rain event to see if we see anything different. But I'm also not an expert on silt, so.
During our meeting, Dave Kaplan noted that there was some bridge work being done, and there was also residential construction, I believe, in the area. And so that was part of the concern, is maybe there was runoff from either site that was bringing silt with it, but there wasn't any activity the day that Jackie went out, so wasn't sure where in proximity to the outfall it was. And this drains a very large area, so it's kind of difficult to pin down.
It's a very large drainage area. What should we do? Wait and see what happens again?
Yeah, I think we keep an eye on it. David, do you remember who brought it to our attention?
As Bev
Okay, so
and
we'll
Brad,
have,
those two, I'm sure.
yeah, the Spy Pond Committee and those folks will be monitoring, and if we see conditions worsen, then we'll redouble our efforts to track down the source.
We can ask them to let us know if they see it.
Is there anything the town could do to, at the outfall, to put like a turbidity curtain there or something? I don't know, flock logs.
I would love to do that at every outfall in Spy Pond.
Yeah, it just sounds like you're seeing this haze, and I know that it can. You need to chase these things, you know, up the culvert and find out who's doing work. Did you check out some of the storm drains and curb inlets for signs of concrete or anything like that, or work in that general area?
It didn't seem like concrete debris. There is, it didn't, well, A, the color was wrong, B, the, what's the word I'm looking for? There was no clumping, like it wasn't clayey like that, it was finer. So I sort of doubt that that's, you know, like a dewatering operation or even somebody just dumping concrete into a basin or something like that.
I'm sorry, I hate to admit, because I was emailing town council, which outfall pipe are we talking about?
The Route 2. drainage.
Okay, so it wouldn't be affected by the work that's going on Pleasant Street now, would it?
You can pull up the.
I drove
I
down
don't
Pleasant.
think
I had the
so.
unfortunate
Yeah.
mistake of driving down Pleasant
Yeah.
Street and
There could be a connection somewhere. I don't
thought I'd
know.
need new suspension.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't think
MWRA
that
is
that
not
work
worried.
would impact that particular storm drain or that
Right.
culvert.
Although, actually, you know,
Yeah,
I'm now remembering when I drive out of Alewife, I get off, I pull out of Alewife, go up Route 2, and I get off at Pleasant Street. But before that, just before that, they have the left lane closed off, so the
Yeah,
cones,
absolutely.
right?
There's
So,
work going on from the top of the hill
yeah,
Right.
down.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
And
right? Anyone else?
that
know?
outfall is capturing all those storm
Right.
drains.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yep.
Yeah, so I think I think we need to call to MDOT to say that they need to get their contractor to
Yeah,
they double check their erosion control, sedimentation controls.
makes sense. MDOT, contact MDOT.
Where
Anyway,
is
yeah.
the catch basin in question?
All of them.
Along
Just
Route
along
2.
Pleasant.
Oh, no, no.
No, we're
I
on
think we
Route.
moved uphill.
We moved uphill on Route 2. So in the divider on Route 2 between the north, westbound and eastbound lanes and going up the hill, they are doing work. I don't even know does anyone remember what they're doing? But they do have it marked off. So the left lane is closed, beginning between the Lake Street on-ramp and the Pleasant Street off-ramp going westbound, and then going up the hill.
Yeah, I wonder what they're doing. I think, so anyways, I think just reach out or
Okay.
bike over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That's what it has to be. And then they could do flock logs. They could do, you know, whatever. They could do whatever they want there. They must, I'm wondering if they're digging or jacking and they have slurry.
Yeah, maybe, because I'm now remembering, I think when I went out last week, I was going eastbound, you know, down the hill to the Pleasant Street exit. And I think that part of that was dug up, if I remember, or those lanes between that and Lake Street. In the morning, I don't really get on Route 2 until the last minute going to Alewife, but I don't know if anyone else has been on the hill. But yeah, I reach out to them, or I don't know, I
Well,
think you can.
unfortunately, I'm not much help, but I go that way every day.
Oh, check it out.
Clearly paying
Yeah,
attention.
if this was a, Monday night meeting, I would have 4 days to check it out, but
Right.
so, well, I'll know tomorrow. I'll try to take a good look, but they're not usually working during the morning.
Stay off Route 2 and Chuck's on it, apparently.
Yeah, I'll pull
He's
over.
paying attention to something else.
I'm filling some potholes down on Lake Street again.
Yeah, right.
All right, we will follow up. I know Brad Barber has a connection to MDOT, local person, I think actually lives in Arlington, so that'll be a good way in.
All right.
Check with Brad, Michelle.
Anything else, David White?
Okay, Hills Pond. It's looking okay. It's been treated for algae, and we may require additional treatment for phosphates. And fishing line, discarded fishing line and gear is still an issue. I wonder what the letter status is you're writing.
Jackie helped to finalize and submit that to the select board. Was it earlier this week or at the end of last? And their next meeting in August is not for a few weeks yet, I believe. So it'll be on the correspondence received for that meeting.
Yep, that was sent out on Friday.
David, do you follow up? David Morgan, do you follow up with the select board or town manager saying, hey, we sent a letter. What's going to happen? Is it going to be discussed?
Yeah, and I guess that begs the question, do we need to have someone there from the commission to discuss it?
Might help.
It's a good question. Since it's under correspondence, I think it's at their discretion to, pick and choose any topics that come up there. Others may be more familiar with the select board process.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a copy of the letter, Dave. Could you send us a copy of the letter?
So when Susan gets back, I'll talk to her since we were out a few weeks, but the way it works in Reading is anyone can do, I'm going to call it Citizens Open Forum. I don't know what they call it anywhere else, but that's at the beginning of our select board meeting. And anyone can say anything they want. And with that, the select board, not then and there, but they'll understand whether they need to put it on a future agenda or if it's something they want to discuss. But it might be something to bring their attention to, kind of keep the pressure up, just make a few statements about that under that forum, pointing to the letter that's in their packet and see if we can get some results. And then also reach out to I know a select board member, and I know Susan knows a separate one, and maybe others do also, but
Yes, send a copy of the letter to the commission. Also, I think other people may be interested as well. I think people should know that we're pursuing this matter and not just
That's
sitting.
true. Yeah, like Laurel.
Yeah, other people should know that we are on the
so
case.
it would be good for if we decide to go, it would be good if you had the time for others to show up too and force.
I think people should know it's part of the public pressure kind of thing.
Yep. All right. Well, that's a good plan moving forward. I'll bring that up to Susan when she returns from her holiday. Hey, David, anything else?
Oh, a few more things. I'll try to keep it short though. The reservoir is actually looking pretty good this summer. There's very little water chestnuts, except up near Lex Farm. The hand harvesters are working away, and the water is looking very open and very clear. I think we may have turned a corner on the water chestnut management.
Wow, great. Congratulations.
Wow,
Big change from where it was 3 years ago.
That's great. That's great.
I think McLennan, they're still working on an assessment of McLennan, right, David?
Yes, they were out on the 15th to try to take additional survey shots because some of the data that they collected didn't agree with the as-built, so they're trying to reconcile their two data sets. There's some talk about datum issues or whether they're they had shot the same points, etc. So they're just refining that before we finalize that report and then hold a public forum. I think the bottom line is the ponds are functioning as intended. The risk of flooding from them is quite low, like we would have to see a 500-year storm event in order for them to overtop the ponds, I mean. And there are recommendations in the report, sneak peek, for water quality improvements and some stormwater management. We're thinking about flow attenuation and so forth. So bottom line, the problem, if there is one, lies elsewhere, not directly in the ponds, but we do have much more to say about the ponds after completing the survey. So there's more to come.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. And the buffer zones are being set up sometime this summer?
Yes, Jackie ordered us the no-mow signs. I'm going to get with DPW about installation. And Jackie, do you have those in hand yet?
Yes, I do.
Nice.
I tried to drop them off last night, but the town hall was closed by the time I got there.
That'll happen.
Great. Progress. Millbrook, a public meeting this fall in Millbrook sometime, I think. Okay.
Yes, looking at early September for the combined No Name Brook and Upper Millbrook findings and recommendations. So again, more on that to come.
And we will have 500 names for No Name Brook, which a water bodies group is trying to sort through.
Oh, wow. Oh, great.
A recommendation to probably sometime in the fall as to what recommendations are. Anyway, there's a lot of public interest in new name for No Name Brook.
Excellent.
Okay, that's all I have.
That's good. Okay. New names for No Name Book. CBA committee liaison, that would be Brian McBride.
Yeah, no news, Chuck.
Okay, that's great. Moving right along. Tree committee update, Sarah Alfaro Franco.
We have, our next meeting is in August, so.
So you haven't had a meeting since our last?
We have not had a meeting, correct.
Okay, well, that's all right. Happens. And then, I don't know if there's a recreation department update, David. Something, this would be about fishing line or whatever else you and Natasha talk about.
It's about our land stewards program, and we've been working on a permitting process for land management on recreation owned and managed public lands. And I met with the assistant deputy Christine Bongiorno in the town manager's office toward the beginning of this week, and we're just trying to iron it out between our departments and commissions to get something in place. I'll keep you updated as we get to a resolution, I hope.
All right. All right.
Thinking of land management, I think the ARMI group is very active in doing some restoration, conservation land. At Window of the Mystic, I think they put a lot of invasives and planted some things.
They have, yeah. I'll I'll make a note to start sharing their reports with the commission when it's on Concom property. It's just been generally, light touch, invasive management kind of stuff. And so
Sure.
I've issued administrative approvals where I thought it was necessary, like it was a large enough project to warrant that. But in general, it's quite small. So the cumulative effect is nice to see, and I can share updates from them periodically.
It's good to know about, yes.
All right. Are we good? Moving on to the third item on our agenda, which is our hearings. We only have one hearing tonight, and that's notice of intent for 16 and 38 Drake Road, Drake Village, DEP file number 91-371. This is a continuation. This notice of intent for Drake Village, for 16 and 38 Drake Village. The Arlington Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to consider a notice of intent under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Arlington bylaw for wetlands protection for sewer line replacement and repaving the drive aisles in the parking area in Drake Village complex at 16 and 38 Drake Village. David, who do we have here tonight for this application? See, one person, Christopher PAR.
Mike Carter, GCG.
Oh, and Mike Carter, okay.
Yeah. Yep. I'm the engineer for the project.
Are you here by yourself, or is there anyone else with you?
No, no one from Arlington Housing Authority is here tonight.
Sure. So this is a continuation, and I wondered if you would just go over the task list that the Conservation Commission gave you from the last meeting, and then how you addressed each one.
Okay. Should I share my screen? Is that okay?
Sure, please.
That's on the screen. Sorry. It's not going to help you. Still the wrong one. Got too many files open. Sorry. You just bear with me, please. Where did it go? Yeah. One sec. My apologies.
I think I have it open on my screen if that would help.
Well, I got the whole presentation. I just have so many screens up that it's
Okay.
Nope, I want. There we go. Sorry about that. So basically, in a nutshell, this is the Drake Village here. We had a bullet list of items to address. A couple of them were to include stormwater calculations, which we provided just for precondition. There's no post condition because we're not increasing the impervious area or changing the pavement on the site. So we provided that, which is part of what we submitted. Also, there was a couple areas that you asked us to look at trying to eliminate some parking. Part of the application was we got a letter from the tenant coordinator at the housing authority, just indicating that there's a shortage of parking. Just to give you an idea, there's 82 parking spaces and there's 216 residents. So we went and evaluated different layouts down here in this parking area here, up in this parking area here. And to lose 2 spaces is kind of difficult. So And the reason you asked for that, if you remember, Millbrook is located right along here, wraps around the site over in here. And the area in the top left corner of the sheet is where 2 spaces right here, this space and the storage container are located inside. This is a 25-foot line, so part of this strip right here is located at 25-foot. So what we wanted to propose, instead of eliminating the 2 spaces, is to, right now there's a stormwater discharge right here from a catch basin located at this location. Is when we reconstruct the parking lot, we're gonna grade it so that everything flows to this catch basin, which will have a hood in it. And then it'll flow through this 12-inch ductile iron pipe back to this location, and we're gonna proposing a stormwater treatment device, calling out a storm scepter, that would treat the water from this whole parking lot that goes out into this existing discharge. So to try to mitigate and make improvements to the discharge, we're proposing that we added that to our plans to try to address that concern. The other concern was a couple drying yard areas. Basically, these buildings have drying yards out in the back that are within this one's. You can see this is a 25-foot line. We're half in, half out. So we're going to remove this and make this loam and seed back in this area. So we've eliminated that one. Then the third area that we talked about was down here, another drying yard. We will be eliminating that one. That's actually, here's a 25-foot is, that's in the 25 to 50 foot, not inside the 25, but we're going to eliminate that to try to reduce the impervious area in your 200-foot riverfront zone. We talked about these 3 trees we're removing, which are outside of the 200-foot, they're beyond your jurisdiction, but in order to try to replace those trees, we're proposing 3 new trees, which in this location, which are inside your jurisdiction. And what we're proposing to do is Princeton elms. And the reason for that is, if you remember, there was a week before you, a couple of years ago, for another project where they did a lot of plantings along the front of the Hauser building, a lot of plantings along the back, and they planted some trees along the back, right along here. So Princeton elms, so we wanted to kind of stay with that same theme. That's why we picked those. The narrative that we provided, which is we provided an updated narrative that kind of addressed climate change. We went down through what the 500-year flood elevation is, and our site is above that. Basically, then we described our hydraulic calculations that we did in this narrative, if you read it. And we talked about when the site was built. And we looked at, trying to do, for rain gardens, all kinds of different treatment. But if you look at the site, it's pretty much all paved. It's all built out. There's not a lot of green space. There's no real spot to try to collect stormwater, put any swales in. If you're familiar with the site, it's pretty much all pervious and not a lot of lawn area. So there's not a lot of room to do that unless we start removing pavement, buildings, and to truly do a BMPs that you would ideally like to do. The water table there is down about 30 inches. So that kind of restricts what we can do also with swales. Vegetation, I just talked about the trees. In the end, what we're doing is we're redirecting the water to all the catch basins. We're upgrading them to have hoods on them. And the addition of the stormwater, I think, is a big benefit. I'll leave that up to you to make a decision for the 2 spaces. So that's kind of the big picture overview.
Oh, thanks, Mike. That was good. I don't know if any of the commission members have questions at this time. It looks pretty good. Can you put the screen down? I was just going to ask, is that hooded catch basin, was that existing or is that from the previous project?
No, that's existing. That's been there since 1950, probably.
Okay.
When they built the development.
And that storm scepter that you're going to put in, is that oil water separator or is it just sediment?
It's sediment.
sentiment. Okay. All right, that's all I have for questions. Anyone else have any comments or want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to close the hearing. And yeah, I want to thank Mike for looking into all that and presenting it so well in writing and at the meeting.
Yeah.
So thank you for that effort.
Nice.
So I make a motion to close the hearing.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mike Gildersgame seconds. David White,
Okay, yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
Mike Gildersgame,
Yep.
and Chuck Teroni says yes, so it's closed. Let's talk about conditions. Does anyone, oh, we closed the hearing, but I knew.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but I noticed, so sorry, Christopher Partridge. Is it, can we,
I'll make a motion to reopen the hearing.
thanks. Can I get a second? Okay, David White,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
Mike Gildersgame.
Yes, sir.
Chuck Teroni says yes. Christopher, do you want to say something to the commission about this project?
My name is Chris Partridge. I'm the Director of Maintenance and Modernization at the Arlington Housing Authority. And Jack Nagel asked me to sit in and listen to Mike's presentation. So Mike, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And thank you to the Conservation Commission for seeing us. And we're excited about the project. I think we're doing great things down at that area in Drake Village. And we appreciate your time, everybody looking into it.
All right, thank you. All right, and with that, Nathaniel Stevens.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing again.
Second. Mike Gildersgame. Let's go with David White.
Yes, again.
Yeah, Mike. Brian McBride.
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens.
Yes.
All right, so who did we miss?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Gildersgame again. There you go. And Chuck Teroni says yes, it's closed. Let's talk about any conditions that the commission wants to put on this project.
Do we have it at the last meeting? We're missing Susan, who usually keeps track of these things, unless staff has any comments or remembers. Going back to the meeting minutes, it wasn't at the last meeting, so it was a month ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the conditions might be for survivability of those three trees, since they're mitigation measures and
continuing condition. Yep.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if it's a continuing condition, but it's like a 3-year, whatever our standard 3-year review is.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, this, yep, survivability, but we should have a continuing condition about keeping the mitigation.
Keeping that mitigation in place, sure.
Right, yeah. Which I think is hopefully a standard condition.
Do you want to entertain a motion or a condition about, so this is riverfront, so you can restrict future impervious surface, like adding additional impervious.
Oh, right.
That's something that we want to do if that's needed. I'm not really in love with that, but I just wanted to throw it out there.
I'm not sure there's any room where you could add more impervious surface.
Well, there's probably always something, but you know, I hear that there's more residents than there are even parking spots, so I'm sure the fact that we even got anything from the applicant was just their willingness to work with us. So I don't think, throw it out to the commission, but I don't know if it's needed.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know.
All right. Any other conditions? David, do you have anything? White, David Morgan.
I pulled up the minutes and I don't see any mentioned in the minutes.
Okay.
Can confirm. Did the same thing.
I'll make a motion to approve the project under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Arlington Wetlands Bylaw with the conditions as discussed and our standard conditions.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mike Gildersgame.
Yeah,
David,
No, it's
David-
Brian, actually.
oh, I saw your hand go up. Oh,
Yeah.
so Brian McBride. Okay, Brian McBride seconds. David White,
Yes.
Mike Gildersgame,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
And Chuck Taroni says yes. Okay. That's it. Thank you, Mike, for
Thanks
for
so
this.
much.
And staff will send out the order of conditions within 21 days.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
All right, so that's it on our agenda. So if there's anything pressing, you can talk about it now. Otherwise, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Just a reminder, when's our next meeting? August 7th?
7th. Yep.
Did we want to bring up the Mass Ready Act?
There you go. Let's,
There we go.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jackie was gonna give us an update on the Mass Ready Act, and we're gonna vote to endorse it and send it along. So,
Oh, good.
Jackie, please.
Yeah, I'll give an overview. So the Mass Ready Act is in the works, and it would provide $2.9 billion in bond authorizations for investments to strengthen infrastructure and protect Massachusetts from increasing extreme weather events. That the comments for it are due to the legislature by July 29th. So this is a very quick turnaround for comments. Unfortunately, not much time to submit those. I went to a few webinars about it. I think Nathaniel Stevens was there, so he might be able to speak further to this. But basically, the Massachusetts Association for Conservation Commissions has comments on the different sections, many of them which they support and many of them which they think need more input from conservation commissions, staff, and wetland experts. Some of the positives include electronic delivery, fixing a typo, making legal notices more flexible, and some of the sections that they thought could be a potential problem include the appeals process could end up costing municipalities more money and time. Linear projects will bypass conservation commissions. And
sorry, that needs to be clarified. Linear projects, yeah, more than I said this morning. More if they go through 3 or more communities. So not just any linear project. So yeah, don't get your hairs up too high. Just
yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Don made the same mistake. Yeah.
All righty.
What is a linear project? Is there a quick explanation of that?
I think it's like sort of like a utility corridor. I would imagine something maybe like a train line or something like that.
Yeah, like you,
or rail to trail.
Rails, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, some of the things are also some definitions, like for priority housing and nature-based solutions, were not included. They didn't include the definitions, and there's concern that those definitions could be determined without public input. And then local bylaws would be eliminated from municipal culvert projects. So those are just some of the things they were concerned about, and they encourage people to submit comments. And when you submit comments, to list the bill number, which is S.2542. Nathaniel, do you want to say more about it?
No, I think you summarized it nicely. I guess I was going to say, are you essentially going to parrot MACC's comments, or did you have additional comments that we were going to add? Do you think?
I don't have a draft of comments. I'd be fine with parroting MECC's comments, but if anyone individually wants to send comments or wants to work together on further comments, we certainly could do that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have something from the Conservation Commission. Unfortunately, given my schedule, I probably can't work on anything really until Monday. I mean, if someone wants to send something, I'm traveling over the weekend. It's a pretty engaging weekend, so I won't have much availability, but happy to review. I think the main thing for us, maybe from the Conservation Commission, our commission's perspective, is that we certainly like the authority to do administrative review. That's being made explicit in the act. We've added that to our regulations, as everyone remembers. But the big concern is that it will give DEP the authority through regulations to essentially eliminate the appeal process to DEP and require it, like it is under the bylaw, if I mean, we don't deny that many projects, so it's not too big a deal, but it would put the burden really on a conservation commission to defend its decision rather than someone just appealing to DEP, which doesn't,
That could be
we don't have to
difficult,
be in
yeah.
process. Yeah, which would, so it'd be much more involved. And I think also cutting out our review at all for linear projects, it provides for some comments. The commissions get to comment on it, but that's really about it. So I think
So can you
those are
go
some areas
over
of concern.
how it cuts out the appeal process? They're eliminating it
Sure.
altogether, so all they have is the Superior Court
No, they're not eliminating it. So it gives DEP the authority to promulgate regulations to define certain types of projects. So they're essentially allowing DEP to create general permits of some sorts for projects such as nature-based solutions, this priority housing projects, projects in buffer zones, and Jackie, help me, I'm missing the fourth one. There's a fourth one listed.
I don't remember the fourth
Maybe
one.
maybe climate
Written down
resilience
those.
projects. Yeah, I can't remember. So a fourth, and those are just given as examples. So DEP could decide on other types of projects that they would have under these general, quote unquote, general projects.
So when a
And
gas
through
line
this-
comes through, they're gonna have a general permit, and the commission's not gonna be able to
Yeah.
weigh in.
No, that's confusing things. So no, the general permit. So general permits could be granted. And the only twist there is they would still file an application with the commission, and some types of projects wouldn't even require a public hearing, but just a public meeting. But the big thing for the commissions is that certain types of DEP could decide that essentially they don't want to review orders of conditions for certain types of projects, not all types of projects. But they would define that in the regulations. So they would say, like, okay, if someone's applying for a priority housing project under a general permit and it's denied or something, the commission has to defend it. And DEP, it doesn't go to DEP for superseding order of conditions and then beyond that to a hearing at DEP. Instead, it goes to Superior Court. So that would put the onus on the municipality, on the town, to defend the decision under the Wetlands Protection Act. We have to defend our decisions under our bylaw, but it would be an added burden to have to defend the decision under the Wetlands Protection Act.
Interesting.
I think for context, it's helpful to note that the administration and DEP, by seeking to do a general permit, is responding to pressure from commissions and environmental activists statewide saying we really need a streamlined permitting process for things like ecological restoration, resilience projects, etc. So I hear what Nathaniel's saying. I agree with that point. I just think it's helpful context to bear in mind that we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. The idea is that we would like to see improvements to the act in those terms. The way that it's currently being done is a little haphazard.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it needs definitely, the legislation needs further refinement and thinking, and all stakeholders at the table.
Yeah, that's another good point, Nathaniel, that throughout MSMCP's comments and MACC's, they're saying that it shouldn't just be CZM, EA, DEP at the table, but the other, EO, HLC, etc. That there should be civic groups basically representing municipal commissions in the decision-making process as they try to refine what priority housing means, or the definition of nature-based solutions for the streamlined process, etc. Like what is eligible, that should be determined in concert with those who represent the commissions statewide. So I had received MSMCP's comments first and forwarded that to Jackie, Chuck, and Susan, and said, you know, I would like to endorse these. And Chuck responded saying, let's review with the full commission tonight.
Do you have them? Can you
Yeah, I
just
can share
forward them
them.
by email?
Yeah. That'll be
Be
easy.
easier to, or screen share, do both.
Yeah, email would be great.
All right. Just sent to all of you. It is a rather lengthy list. Jackie went through all the good changes and described the ones that raise concern, and then Nathaniel elaborated on them. So I don't think our discussion missed anything. I think the way that we might phrase our comments, also remembering well, Jackie's out tomorrow, I'm out until Wednesday, so that would mean that I would at least miss the deadline for filing comments if we didn't decide, you know, tonight and endorse something pre-written, so to speak. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I think that it's worth sending a message to the Joint Committee on Environment to say Arlington Conservation Commission endorses what MSMCP has to say on this topic. You know, probably reiterate that MACC is also on board and say we look forward to further discussion or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, so there's email here. So it says, here's some draft talking points. So we could essentially, I mean, I've seen this done before, so is just say where it says from good changes down, we would cut and paste that, you know, into a submittal, you know, on letterhead, ideally. Second best is email, I guess, from Jackie or Chuck or Susan, just saying, you know, if the Conservation Commission discussed these, you know, endorses, it has the following comments on whatever, what are the numbers, 25, blah, 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 and do that. So again, it's just, you can cut and paste these talking points that they have some good change and changes that raise concern. We can even tweak it to say, instead of changes that raise concern, but changes that we have a reservation about or something to make it look a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
If folks are comfortable with that.
That sounds fine. Yeah.
Good with me.
Yep.
Good idea.
All right. So who's gonna do that? Jackie, because that's something you can do, send in on Tuesday when you're back, Monday when you're back?
Yep, I can do that.
Okay. That'd be
Okay.
great. That'd be terrific.
Take a
So,
vote on it.
yeah. And again, you don't even have to that paragraph that says MSMCP believes, I mean, you could just say the Conservation Commission believes that more work is needed on many of the proposed sections, blah, 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 and just change, you know, change MSMCP to Arlington Conservation Commission if you really want.
Yeah.
So that'd be great. Okay.
All right. That
Good,
seems
thanks.
to be good.
Do we need to vote on that or just
Sure. Yeah. Why don't we just vote to adopt? I make a motion to send in those comments as we discussed.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
And David White seconds. Mike Kildiscame,
Yes.
Brian McBride,
Yes.
Nathaniel Stevens,
Yes.
David White,
Yes.
and Chuck Tirone says yes. Now, can we get a motion if there's nothing else to adjourn?
Yeah. Just a note. I will not be at the next meeting. I'll be on vacation on the 7th of August.
Enjoy.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And Mike
Motion to
Kildiscame?
adjourn.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Thanks,
Just,
everyone.
so I'll just
Turn.
all in favor,
Everybody.
wave. Thanks. All right. Have a good time, Nathaniel, and
Thanks.
we'll see you later.
We'll be in touch. Bye.
Bye, buddy.
Bye now.
No.